hopefully this looks okay. So the Ram Rebel versus the Ford Raptor. It's not really comparison, right? It's not. I know it's not. It's been done to death. But to be fair, it is a comparison for people who are trying to buy trucks in the sense that maybe they want something a little bit more than just a truck to haul lumber back from Home Depot to their house. You know, considering where you live, for instance, where you're going, what you're doing with it. So while it's not apples to apples, I feel like it's pretty fair to at least talk about. They're pretty similar in price sometimes, which gets me to my first point as to why I decided to go with the Rebel over the Raptor. I'm new to the pickup scene. This is my first truck, not the first truck I wanted, but the first one I got. The first truck I ever wanted was a 2000 Dakota RT. I still had a little soft spot for those. Brought it home. My mom flipped. Trucks are tail happy, unsafe, you can't really do that much with them. So bottom line, she just was not having it. And, I was fortunate enough that my parents bought my first car. I ended up with a Honda Accord. Super safe. Super safe. Not cool like a truck though, not cool like that Dakota RT. So it took about 15 years, but I finally got my truck. Finally got it. I've always been a car guy, but very specifically to cars, and more specifically rally cars. So I've always been a Subaru guy, not a vapor, don't do that kind of stuff, not a douche. No, I'm not a douche, but I was pretty ignorant to what's the average going rate for, pickups were anymore, or well equipped, shall I say. So then when I started looking, I got kind of a bit of sticker shock. I initially wanted to stay under 50K, and that very quickly I saw was not gonna happen. Not at least with the things that I wanted in. So, leather, good stereo. Be capable, obviously, it's a truck. So I very quickly realized that under 50K was not likely for all of the things I wanted. And to be fair, you can get plenty of well-equipped, decent trucks for 50K. I just know I wanted it to be nice. But the first reason I decided not to look for the Raptor is because I knew what they were going for, around 65 to, 75,000 is what the kind of average going rate was for them where I live. Easily could go on Auto Trader and find some dealership selling them for close to 100,000. It's insane in here. But that's before I knew some things about the Raptor. And this is not Raptor bashing, because we all know, again, holy grail of trucks right now is the Raptor, despite that 6-cylinder. But then I saw the interior. Oh, my wife had a 2012 Mustang, and oof. The Raptors look too similar to that in 2020. So I just got to the point where I was like, if I'm $60,000 for this, no, I can't do it. I know that's everybody's beef, but at the same time, it was too much for me. Back to the Rebel. I started looking around at them again, and then I realized, what they came with in that same price range, and that was one of the biggest selling points for me. But again, that idea of being comparably equipped in the same price range brings me back to number 2, the interior. I think it's kind of goes without saying that the majority of people think the Ram right now is the cream of the crop when it comes to interior. You don't see a whole lot of trucks built like this. I mean, it's got a Tesla screen now, for crying out loud. Because the first time I looked at the Rebel was the 2019 year when they came out with the 5th gens, but the 12-inch screen was not an option. It was only an option in the regular Ram. It wasn't available in the Rebel at the time. So that's kind of why I sat for a little while and was even still considering the Raptor. Then when the 2020s came out, got the big 12-inch screen, and that was probably one of the selling points for me, the biggest selling points for me. All around, it just feels nicer in here than the Raptors did. Quality of materials, now it's dirty right now because I've been out quite a bit, driving around, going to some places, getting some shots for, social media. Follow me on social media. But really just the overall quality feels a lot better than what Fords kind of universally are. My wife had a Cherokee Trailhawk, loved the interior of it. We've got currently a Rubicon, And one of the things that sold us on that versus the JKs was how much they improved the interior. Everything in this, the stitching, the seats, the controls, it feels miles better. And I kind of mentioned this at the beginning of the video of why I needed the truck or what I would be using it for. The Raptor is amazing off-road. Nothing can touch it. Inch for inch, that thing will destroy any pickup on the market right now. The articulation, the high speed, the suspension, the damping, it's just can't touch it. We don't have that in Washington. As cool as that thing is, there aren't a whole lot of places on the Western Washington side where you're doing high speed off-road trail stuff. You can go over to Dirtfish, maybe. I don't know how they'd let you do that. I don't know. Drive around, go hiking, do some small trails and stuff. Don't need crazy articulation. If we do, we've got the Rubicon. But really just kind of wanted it as something bigger to haul stuff, get the dogs out, go find cool spots. And that was arguably bigger than price for me. I knew I wasn't going to be able to sway my wife on that price point when the thing looked the way it did inside and performed the way it did where we wouldn't be using it. I felt like the Raptor for me was never owning a bike and then going straight to the new S1000RR, which is an axe murderer, and saying, I want that one, and thinking you're gonna hop in it and it's gonna be everything you need and you're just gonna be an absolute rock star on that thing. It's not gonna happen. And similarly, I didn't want my first pickup to be something hardcore like the Raptor, as cool as it was, and end up like this guy. Link to that full video is down below in the description if you've never seen it. I'd be surprised if you haven't seen it. The thing is iconic at this point. And final point to that is that I knew we would probably be doing a lot of long drives, a lot of long road trips, and I cannot vouch for this myself, but it is something that I've heard and it makes a lot of sense. Because the Raptors have such long travel in their suspension, they tend to be floaty, I've heard, on the highway at speed. Like I said, I cannot say for myself, but I have heard a lot of that, and it does make sense for, you know, what they are, for what they're built. The Ram 4-corner coil suspension feels a lot more like a car, and so far it's been really, really comfortable on long drives. And then one of the final factors in deciding whether or not I wanted a Raptor or a Rebel was the looks. I know you think you know what I'm gonna say. I just like the Rebel more. The Rebel looks better. I like the Raptor more. The Raptor looks way, way, way cooler. Because it looks way cooler, a lot of people want it. You know, just search Ford Raptor or Raptor on Instagram. You're gonna get a lot more hits than you do get Ram Rebel. And we also live in a pretty affluent area, so you actually see Raptors around a lot, like a dime a dozen. I see maybe 1 or 2 Rebels here and there. I wouldn't call it exclusivity because these are very easy to get into, but just that uniqueness. And to be frank, I really, really do like the way the Rebels look. The front end, the way they changed it from the 4th gens, I think this is actually converting a lot of people who never looked at trucks before to come to trucks. So with that, I think I'm gonna get going. That's kind of why I chose, hopefully this isn't too loud, a Rebel over a Raptor. You may agree with me, you may not. I don't care. I don't even care. And the people that hate on this, I actually like this knob a lot. I like this way more than, oh, no copyright strikes. I like this way more than center stalks. Those gear changers suck. But, alright. Toodles.